How to Live Mindful of Heaven Today. This was written by Dr. David Jeremiah. As followers of Christ, we are offered the promise of heaven, a glorious name for believers of all generations to be united with the Father and with each other. To imagine the beauty, peace, and majesty of heaven is a wonderful mental activity as we turn our minds away from the pain and tribulation of this world and dwell on the joy to come in God's realm. At the same time, Christians are not called to spend their days only looking upward, so we should set our minds on things above, as mentioned in Colossians chapter 3 verse 2. Well, what about our responsibilities to God and each other today? No doubt the reality of heaven impacts our lives here on earth. The New Testament constantly affirms that what we believe about heaven affects how we live now. But as people of God, we are called to live with purpose, purity, and promise. People of purpose. Peter urged believers in Jesus to remain mindful about their purpose. He wrote, "Therefore, beloved, looking forward to these things, be diligent to be found by him in peace, without spot and blameless." 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 14. The instruction to be diligent means to do your best, make haste, take care, hurry on. In Peter's day, there were some who thought that since the Lord was coming back soon, they should just take it easy and coast into heaven. The very opposite is true, because Christ is coming back. We're to be filled with urgency. We are to be diligent, consistently mindful. Jesus affirmed this instruction when he told us to do business till I come. As talked about in Luke chapter 19, verse 13. We are to diligently use the gifts and callings he has placed upon us and take advantage of every opportunity that he puts in front of us. People of purity. In order to be rapture ready, we must live with godliness and purity offered to us in Christ. Since Christ can return for us at any time, it is our responsibility to live in holiness until his return. As 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 11 tells us, "Therefore, since all these things will be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness?" In this verse, Peter describes the lifestyle of a Christian who understands the future plan of God. He said we ought to be people of holy conduct. He also added the word godliness, which means to have a Godward attitude and to do the things that are pleasing to him. In his first letter to Timothy, Paul also exhorted us to make godliness the object of determined effort and pursuit. He said, "Exercise yourself towards godliness and pursue godliness," as talked about in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7 and chapter 6, verse 11. This affects the words we speak, the things we watch, the thoughts we indulge, and the habits that shape our lives. As one waiting for Christ's return, are you living with the purity of mind and heart required of all believers? People of promise. In addition to lifting up godliness and holy conduct, Peter encouraged Christ's followers to be looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God, as said in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 12. In other words, Peter instructed us to be mindful of God's promises for the future, specifically the rapture and the second coming. When we believe in God and the prophecy given to us, we will live in ways that glorify him and demonstrate the fullness of our belief. According to Peter, it is easy to become indifferent to the coming of the Lord and his future plans for us. He encourages us to live as those looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God. The words translated as looking for mean to expect or wait for. When Peter wrote in verse 12 that we are hastening at the coming of the day of God, he was reminding us we are to earnestly desire the coming of the Lord. Paul put it this way towards the end of his life. Finally, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day, and not to me only, but also to all who have loved his appearing. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. I love the word anticipation. We have an inborn psychological need to look forward to coming events, to enjoy thinking about them, to plan for them, to relish the thought of our upcoming vacation or visit with a grandchild or holiday meal, or what I like to say, like going to a concert, a show with live bands, stuff like that. How much more should we anticipate the sure promise of Christ's return for us? As Christians, we are to live for the present and the glorious future to come. The knowledge we possess of God's promise and plans should not detract from the plans He has for us today. May we all enjoy the benefit of knowing our future is secure in Christ while we toil on earth today. As children of the Most High God, it is our privilege to live for a Father who holds yesterday, today, and tomorrow in His loving hands. And this is adapted from The Great Disappearance, 31 Ways to be Rapture Ready by Dr. David Jeremiah. Well, thanks for listening.